So welcome everyone to Partner Talk Live today. I'm super happy to have everyone here. My name is Kenneth Hendricks. I am HawkSoft's Director of Partner Integration. And we are joined here with the team from Donna, who I will introduce here shortly. First, some housekeeping. This will be our last Partner Talk Live before the HUG National Conference on May 11th through the 13th in Orlando, Florida. I'd like to encourage all of you to attend. I know it's only a week and a day out, so airfare might be a little tricky to come by, but if you're on the East Coast and you haven't got a ticket yet, do consider joining us. This is being recorded. If you have questions throughout the presentation, please use the Q&A function. The chat, if it gets lively, I can lose track of where those questions are, but in Q&A, they keep them top of mind, and we will find the most appropriate time to bring them up during today's presentation. The purpose of Partner Talk Live is to generate conversation and direct interaction with the partners that are helping HawkSoft agencies enhance their workflows, be more successful, be more efficient. And an excellent place to also do that is at the National HUG Conference in Florida. Donna is one of the key sponsors. They will be sponsoring one of the very fun activities I'm super looking forward to at the Icon Park. And Donna and Aureus Analytics, the company that created Donna, have been extremely good participants and supporters of the HUG organization for a number of years, in addition to being great partners with HawkSoft. Donna and Aureus Analytics, I feel, we're a bit ahead of the curve in terms of bringing enhanced data analytics and understanding of customers to the market. And I say ahead of the curve because now it seems like every other potential partner I meet is also trying to enter this space of data analytics, data enhancement, and they're following in some pretty big footsteps that Aureus Analytics has stepped out in front with. I'm super excited to introduce Ron and Thomas from Donna and Aureus Analytics to give today's presentation. I'm going to sit here quietly and listen because I love always seeing this platform and seeing new things brought forward. And maybe in a little bit, I'll also have some role to play in demonstrating really cool functionality that can marry our two systems together even further than the API integration we have today. So without further ado, enough of me blathering on. Really looking forward to this conversation, so I'll pass it over to Ron.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Kenny, too. And I'm Ron Schroyer. I'm the VP of Sales at Aureus Analytics, and we have Thomas Mann, who's on the line with us, too. He's our Director of Customer Success. First, I want to say thank you to HawkSoft for having us on. And HawkSoft has been a tremendous partner, and I think every single agency that's on this call right now has seen that over the last few years, especially as we start talking about allowing agencies the opportunity to choose what partners they want to work with. I came from one of the larger competitors because my last company was acquired by them. And that's not the same way that every company in this space treats the agencies. So I think everybody should be pretty excited and thrilled as far as the path that HawkSoft's on, as far as connecting with a lot of different technology partners that's going to help fulfill some of the needs for you as an agency. So Thomas and I today, we really just want to talk about data and analytics at a high level, because I know that can be almost a daunting word because it can mean a lot of different things, but just how can we make it simple? How can we, regardless of the size of agency, how do we make it easy for you to understand where can I go make money? Where can I make sure that I'm understanding which clients that I have the best opportunity to go sell a piece of business to, or that I can understand who may be at risk as far as leaving us as an agency? And again, make it easy, because we understand with organizations of smaller to mid-size, they may not have resources available. So everybody wears a lot of hats. So you need to be incredibly efficient as far as how you work with customers, but also how you use the technologies. And we'll share with you how we're progressing with HawkSoft, with HawkLink and down the line, the two-way API, to really just embed some of the insights that we have within your workflow. And we're not a workflow tool, but there's areas that we can certainly enhance certain parts of that too. So you already know the name of our product is called Donna. What we've seen is actually unique. So we have over 100 agencies on the platform, and the large majority of those are from HawkSoft, from the relationship. And it's always understanding within the data, how can you benefit from adopting a technology like this? So I'm going to talk about our centimeter score, which you see on the bottom left. But what we're always talking is, how can we go sell more? All of our customers that we have in-house right now, that's the path of least resistance for every single one of you as an agency to go grow your business. Net new business is always important and imperative for you as a company. But if you can grow from what you already have in your door, it's a lot less labor intensive and it's a lot less expensive. And we just want to, again, open up those opportunities to where you can make that money with your current clients. So as you can see, a lot of these numbers speak for themselves. We took a snapshot of customers who were on board Donna, and then a 6-month snapshot of the utilization, and then where were they after that 6 month after using Donna. So increases in policies per customer. We don't have retention rates on here, but we have those type of metrics too. This centimeter score is our biggest differentiator. And what I want to do is just really talk to you about centimeter, because we are a data and analytics company, but centimeter is the way that we can help you understand customers better. And all you need to think about it is it's a stock price for your customers. So centimeter follows the journey. Every time you bring on a new client, it starts that journey. So if Kenny is my client, say he came on board with me in January 2015, there's all these different events that happen with Kenny. And it's a lot of stuff that's tracked within the agency management system. There's inceptions of the policies, there's renewals, there's claims, service requests, testimonials, there's surveys. There's all these different things that have an effect as far as how Kenny feels about me as an agency. And we apply our centimeter score to that. So it's a 0 to 100 customer experience scale that lets you know, as of today, where is Kenny with me? Because that's going to let you know, is Kenny in a good spot that I can go to have that conversation with him to go sell a policy? Or is Kenny starting to trend downward? And is he at risk of leaving us as a company? And I'll share some examples of how we use centimeter, both for retention, but also cross-sell, upsell metrics. But we've processed over 65 million insurance policies between our India and US business with this algorithm. And it's really unique what it lets you do as a company to just really focus your efforts in the right spot with your customer base. So that's a quick overview on Donna. I just want to jump in and I'm going to share a few examples as far as what we do. So those examples are going to cover just how do I understand retention for my agency? How do I know where I can go sell more as of today? And then how can I make sure that my agency is performing at its best? How do I compare against others or even just internal benchmarking? How am I progressing month over month, year over year by utilizing all the technologies I have in place? All right. I'm going to make sure, Kenny, can you guys see the dashboard now? Okay, perfect. So what I'm looking at now, we are within the Donna platform and we're actually in the account owner's view. So what we've done is we just want to make it easy for an account manager to go in and know exactly where he or she should spend their time. And as we talk about retention, how can we use centimeter to make sure that retention, we're keeping our customers? The way we organize this is we look across their entire book of business. So what's assigned to them? What do they work on a yearly basis? We can let them know that centimeter score across all their clients. What's the average customer experience score through them all? And then we make recommendations within 3 different buckets, and we'll talk about each one of these. But retention is the biggest thing for this part of the conversation. So we look at what's the likelihood to retain a customer? What's the likelihood to round out, cross-sell, upsell? But what's the likelihood also to renew a policy? And as I mentioned before, if we're a standalone platform, we do not need people to be within Donna every minute of the day. All we want to do is be able to show you quickly, within 10 minutes or less, where can I spend my time? Now, I think over the next handful of months, that's going to change dramatically, especially with the two-way API with Hawksoft. So you don't even have to touch Donna. We could just potentially bake these insights within areas of the agency management system or potentially with some CRM platforms that you have in place. But from our retention area, you just want to look at your customers. We're going to let you know the trending of that centimeter score. Did they cancel 2 policies? So now you had 3 policies down to 1. Has that score dropped immediately? So this is going to allow you as an account owner to know, all right, I need to spend my time with these 5 customers over the next 30 days before the renewal of their last policy's up, because they're starting to trend in a not so great direction and we need to hang on to them. We always talk about growth, and when people start to measure what's my retention percentage, the more you can save every single year as far as keeping your clients, the easier it is to be able to go get your growth numbers. So if you can get, I'm 88% retention, I'm 89%, every little uptick matters when it comes to be able to reach your goals, and that's what we want to help you on the retention side. That was an example we did from just the desk level. So the account owner that has a couple hundred clients assigned to them. I just pulled back right now. I want to show you just from the top level. So as executives from an agency, they want to know across all my clients, regardless who's it assigned to, who are my top clients that have a low centimeter score, that are potentially driving downwards, that we can lose, but are going to move the needle the most if they end up leaving us. So we have these reports within 2 clicks. You jump in and say, here's my high value clients with low centimeter. Commercial lines, personal lines, they're sliced out that way. And this is going to give you a good way to know beforehand, before a customer leaves, who should we pay attention to right now. And I'm going to pause right there before we jump over to the cross-sell side. And Thomas, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think you did a great job, highlighting, Ron, how to get there, and then pairing that to the insight piece. But, I just want to, and I'll come back to this, but I want to make sure for all of our, attendees that we highlight, data analytics and is kind of a buzz term, right, in our industry. And it can be, and Donna can be a very deep tool, but you don't have to know everything about Donna to find high value out of the product. And that's what we want to show in today's presentation.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And people ask us that all the time. And that's, Thomas, that's right in his wheelhouse with being director of customer success. But a lot of people ask us, where do we start? So what we like to do with each one of our agencies is just really understand what's the quickest way to get up and running to get the value and benefit. So it might be something as simple as a use case here. Maybe you think there's an opportunity within monoline clients that you have. The data can help verify that, and then can show you those opportunities. So maybe you just want to start. I want to look at my top 30 monoline clients I have, and then try to go out and sell them the opportunities that we present to you. And I'll show you that within the next slide. So it could be as simple as that. And obviously because of data analytics, we can get very in depth, but that's how we usually start. So as we go back and start to take a look at, where can I go sell more to? Where do I have opportunity? Again, from the account owner perspective, we understand how important it is to make sure you get in and out and not have to spend a ton of time within platforms. So we designed it this way. So as you look at the list of customers, we'll take a personal lines and commercial lines example. But Danae Odell, right now, she's an 80 on the centimeter score. So we want to go see, what can we go sell to Danae? Because she's trending upwards. It seems like it's a good time, and we always know timing's the best thing. The existing policies sorry, got my magic mouse with Apple. The existing policies she has in place, but let's look at the recommendations. So we make recommendations on every single customer and then policies. So it could be a like-kind client who looks and feels like another one. Will make a recommendation because this person's buying this, they should buy this. We'll also take a look at existing policy coverages, endorsements that's available. And then in some of our packages, we also incorporate external data that lets you learn a lot more about a customer. And an example is if Danae here, right now you're currently only writing home and auto, but we picked up that she has 2 additional vehicles in the household, or she owns a vacation home or owns a business. That's an opportunity that you may not necessarily know because you have a ton of clients and it's impossible to know everything about everyone. So that's what we like to do, is just present, where's the path of least resistance? Let's go get a quick endorsement. Here's an example. There's no water sewer endorsement on this policy, and it applies to the specific policy. So if you add that on, that's a quick little uptick, a couple $100 or whatever it might be on a homeowner's policy. And all it took was a quick phone call or an email. We also have a feedback loop, which is great because we've processed over $2 billion worth of premium on the platform. And that feedback's just like any social media channel that you use. It lets you learn a lot more about what we're providing, and it lets our recommendations get smarter. So if you give us a thumbs up, it was a good recommendation. It helps just re-verify what we're doing, and then the accuracy. And same thing on the flip side. If we make one that's a little off base, it'll weed that one out so you don't have to touch it. There's a couple other examples like service line breakdown, mechanical breakdown, youthful drivers from a personal standpoint. And we all know, between personal lines and small commercial insurance, that it's very much a volume play. So you got to be very efficient as far as how you engage these customers and know where you can spend the time. The cross-sell piece from the commercial lines, it's very similar. that we discuss. So we're very good in commercial lines, small commercial, but also on the personal line standpoint, but same recommendation type. This commercial lines customer's in a good spot. They got a BOP policy. There's no umbrella. Let's go out and let's talk about pinning an umbrella policy onto here. That's from the account owner screen. As you can see, when you go in, within a couple minutes, you can understand over the next 20 days, I got these 4 opportunities that I'm really going to start to work. And as we progress a lot further with the Hawksoft team and some of our integration partners, it can let you do a lot of things. You can do automated messaging to clients, whether through Rocket Referrals. We could take a look at embedding stuff within the other CRMs, so it can be within workflow and pushing that out, or even within the agency management system in Hawksoft, which I think we're super excited about. So that's from the existing level of an account manager. Real quickly, I'm going to pull back out from the executive level and just look at across my agency, where do I have opportunity? And again, it's just, let's be smart. Where do we have the biggest upside? Where can we go sell the most? So when we do this, you can look at it by product. I mentioned Uplift Premium. We do it by line of business. We can do it by recommendation type by line of business too. But Uplift Premium, that's like, hey, where can I go make the most amount of money? So if you want to go sell commercial auto policies, 12% of our recommendations are in commercial auto. And then I can drill down and see every single client that's a fit for that. So again, it just helps you make sense of your data, but also how do you make money from the data? And you don't have to be a data scientist. We're here to help you to present this as easy as possible to know where you can go to do that. Thomas, anything to add on these couple pieces?
Well, just that we're trying to be their in-house data scientist. I mean, we don't want you guys to have to study the data. We want to serve it up to you in an easily digestible manner. Yeah. One thing, Ron, I want to add, as these folks start thinking about how, their users, like their account managers or, producers might use this at the desk level, the dashboard here is an executive view that Ron's showing, where this is, you'll only see this if you have an executive permission in Donna. But that home screen where we had retain, renew, and cross-sell, round out, highlighted, everyone will have access to that. And so if they're an account manager, they're only going to see accounts they manage there. So you don't have to worry about them getting lost in the weeds with folks they don't know. It's very accessible. And, how can I find value in Donna in 15 minutes or less? Right there on the homepage. Come through, you can cross-reference them in Hawksoft if you want to, do a quick deep dive, or if you got an appointment coming up. That's the magic out of the gate right there.
Yeah, and going back to how quick you can do that, and after I get through the next small portion of the webinar, Kenny's going to share an example with you about HawkLink. That way you can be within your Hawksoft platform and then go directly into Donna and understand, okay, I'm looking at Thomas's account. I want to know Thomas's centimeter score and the top 3 things I can go do. Then eventually, once we get the 2 APIs opened up and we're working through some of that stuff right now, not even have to worry about HawkLink and just have it all within one platform, which is the ideal scenario. I know if you partner with a lot of tech companies, everyone wants you to spend as much time as possible. We're not that way. We just want to be kind of, call it the invisible analytics, or just kind of the mind behind everything that's going on, and you guys can use it anywhere you want to. So I think that's what we're most excited about with the Hawksoft relationship. So I talked about retention. How can I quickly understand who's at risk from the top level of an agency, but also from an account owner perspective? Then same thing with, where can I go make money today? Which clients got the easiest path, or they're trending upward in that score that I can go sell to? The last piece that I want to show you is understanding benchmarking. So we have benchmarking, and it's not in the sense of the word of, I'm looking at Kenny's manufacturing company, and Kenny has $5 million in sales, and I want to know what's an average limit for his D&O policy or property policy. It's a lot about customer experience metrics, but also how do I perform as a business as compared to others. So we pull in a lot of information. So you can see from benchmarking, this measures your agent's. Oh, sorry, I was probably in that for a little bit too long. Had that popped up. So what benchmarking does is it actually looks at your performance as an agency, and also compares you against the rest of the industry. I mentioned that we have $2 billion worth of premium and 100 plus agencies in our platform. So you can start to learn, how do I stand? Where can I make improvements? Through various lines of business, over time, as you start to measure yourself regionally against other people within the data pool, but also state specific too. And then you can get into understand across various lines of premium volumes. Where are most of my clients at? Are my bigger clients happy with me? Are they unhappy? How do they compare to my competitors? And the same thing across different lines of business. And then when you go on the business metrics side of things, this is when you start to jump in and take a look at policies in force. What's my retention ratio? What's my premium per customer? How do I compare against the industry? What's the benchmarking look across various states and even top carriers? So as everybody looks at, you always want to make sure you're putting your customers with the best possible market. This gets a little bit further down the line of how we work with some agencies, but there's opportunities to take a look at your carriers and see who's a good fit, who's performing well with my customers right now based off that score. And is there a better market that we have access to that you can go place that business with? So it just, again, opens up that way to be transparent with your carriers and potentially move those to other markets that are going to be better for your customers. But going back to it, they're going to pay you a lot more too. The last thing I'll touch base on before I flip it over to Kenny is we just take a look at trends. I'm sorry, metrics, not trends. You think I know this better after doing this 4,000 times. Take a look at metrics, and this is just internal measures. How have we done? What's my agency looking like? What's the premium volume month over month? You get into year over year. How am I growing my customer base? How are we using the platform, the kudos, which is that thumbs up and thumbs down? Where are the recommendations at? How many unhappy customers do I have? Because these are obviously you want to get more and more in this bucket, less and less in this bucket. And without Thomas mentioned, I think that the great thing about this industry, there's been a lot of capital and a lot of investment and a lot of new technologies coming in. Is there's a lot of partners out there that you don't have to be a data scientist. You don't have to have a ton of money. You don't have to have a huge team or a ton of data. You can leverage that because now it's accessible to be able to arm yourself like some of the largest shops in the country have internally now. And that's really what we want to do. And that's why Hawksoft's been an awesome partner. So with that said, I just want to flip it over to Kenny and let him talk through what it looks like from the HawkLink perspective too. And then we'll do a quick recap and then set next steps.
Yeah, awesome. I'm going to save, I have so many thoughts. I'll save them for the end of the presentation, but I love every time I see Donna again, because the UI and the UX just keeps getting better. The metrics keep getting deeper. I'm going to share my screen now, and everyone should be familiar with Hawksoft if you're on this call. And am I showing up? Is it all good?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to give credit to Jordan, who is a staff member at Paradiso Insurance. What I'm about to show you, she created a video on and demonstrated it, and kind of like it made the rounds to every department inside Hawksoft, being like, look at this cool just way to use HawkLink that is a little bit outside of the normal application, which is interfacing with carriers. But this is interfacing with, your Donna platform to bridge that data, because Donna is an API partner, so they have it all in the back end, but doing that one-to-one engagement that a lot of customers want, or a lot of users within Hawksoft want to use, this is a really cool way to do that. So tip of the hat to Jordan, and probably when we send this recording, we'll also include her original video. I'm doing this live to get a little bit more illustrative. So I have a client file here that's open, and this client is in Donna. And so I'm just going to demonstrate the quick route, and then I'm going to walk you through how I did it, because I think demonstrating the efficiency is a little bit more important, and then breaking down how we achieved it. I'll definitely go over that. So this is my Hawksoft. I have a Donna button. I'm going to click the Donna button. It's going to launch Donna, log me in, and the client's name is in the search bar. I just have to hit enter, and there we go. There's the client I wanted to look at. This is the client file I was open, and then I can dive in and learn more about Caitlin. That was like 2 seconds, super fast. Let me break down step by step how we accomplished that. So first and foremost, this is an external tool within Hawksoft. External tools are kind of like hot buttons, like we have over here, but they're set up workstation by workstation. This is kind of good because if you have staff who don't need to be in Dana, you won't be putting a Dana button on their machine. You can set that up one by one. Under the setup menu in Hawksoft, if you go down, we have computer specific settings. This is where external tools live and where I'm going to show you how to set this up. So setup menu, computer specific settings, and then this tab here, external tools. And external tools, it's designed for one of two things: launching a program you use a lot, let's say Word, Outlook, or a website you use a lot, like Dana by Aureus Analytics. You're going to hit new, and that's going to give you this prompt to fill out. And then I'm going to hit edit just to show you how I set this up. So under tool name, I called it Dana, and I changed the tool type from program to website. I don't necessarily need a tooltip, but this would be something that would appear when you hover over it. So you could say launch Dana by Aureus Analytics. Sort of pizzazz. And then this URL is not the one you will use. I'll show you how to get that URL because I believe this is a test environment potentially. But you paste in the URL you get after logging into Dana, and I'll show you where I grabbed that from. Actually, I can do this right here. So if I'm on the home screen of Dana, I just copy this URL, and back in Hawksoft, I paste it where it needs to go. We don't need to worry about arguments or initial directories. This checkbox here makes sure that it appears on the sidebar, which can be useful for folks, especially if you have a lot of external tools. So that's the setup for the button. And then in user preferences, so if I click on my name at the top, user preferences, you want to make sure that you're using HawkLink for Google Chrome. This is the latest and greatest version of HawkLink. We are extremely proud of the tool, and it uses Google Chrome to power a modern version of the HawkLink feature that we've had for a long time, but you need to make sure that that's turned on. So now, whenever you launch a website within Hawksoft, like using this Dana button, it's going to launch with HawkLink right here. And if I turn on this highlight, you'll see that HawkLink knows to put data in this field. How did it know that? Well, I'm going to remove the site mappings so I can show you. But basically, you go to the search bar, and then you find the data you want in HawkLink. For this example, I'm going to use the named insured, the first name. I'm just going to double click, and that puts that data there and maps it. And now, anytime I come to this web page, that data is going to fill in. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it, oh, that's my login for this one. After this call, I'm just going to upload this mapping to Hawksoft, and then any customer who comes to this website will be given the option to just enable the mapping without having to do any work. That's the beauty of the new HawkLink. So then I search, it pulls up the client I need, and that further bridges Hawksoft with Dana. And as Ron alluded to, we're in frequent conversations. We've been exchanging a lot of discussions between leadership teams around how to better coordinate and collaborate. Really looking forward to some long sit-down conversations in Florida with the Aureus Analytics team because they're doing super exciting stuff. Awesome. Any questions? I lost track of chat while I was doing this. Any questions before I throw it back over? Seems like we're good. Okay, I'll pass it back to you, Ron.
Yeah, and thanks a lot for that, Kenny, too. And I think he just showed you a perfect example. And it's something that goes back to what I said earlier, Hawksoft listening to the agencies as far as what they need and want. It's the same thing as with our customers early on when we developed Dana. I don't need an extra screen, or how can I get things connected and be as quick as possible? And I think that was a perfect example. It was within a couple seconds to be able to jump into the example of Caitlin's that he showed you. So we're super excited about it. I'm going to let Thomas do just a quick recap and give his parting thoughts. And I'll say at the same time, Thomas and I will be down in Orlando next week at the Hawksoft conference. So please stop by at our booth. Happy to talk to anybody. And we're also sponsoring a pretty nice event, which Kenny mentioned at the Icon Ferris wheel, which is like 450 feet high, which I don't know how many at the top level. Might need to hold the hand a little bit, but at the same time. But I'll flip it over to Thomas, let him do the kind of the closing recap of what we talked about. And again, thank you very much for the time, Hawksoft, and also everyone who joined. I think you're on mute.
Sorry, guys, they're paving my street out here. So Kenny, I appreciate you demonstrating HawkLink for us and having us, and we're super excited about, possibly expanding the partnership with you guys as well, because you guys have been an awesome partner for Aureus so far. To everyone who attended, I hope you saw something you liked in there. I will recap, the big thing, especially for new folks who sign up when they come across my desk. We'll have an intro session, right, to get you up to speed, and there, we'll scope what you want to do with Donna and go from there. But all that to say, it can be as shallow or as deep as you want it, but either way it works, right? You don't have to know some of the stuff Ron was showing you about, metrics and analytics and foresight out of the gate to just analyze your book, find some quick wins. But the cool thing is that Donna has that ability to flex, right? So Donna can kind of be the oracle, if you will, of the agency, right? So if you want to go back in there and see how have you done, like in metrics, you can kind of see, where you've been. We've got a foresight feature that can kind of forecast if you write X, what will happen to your bottom line, et cetera. So where you're going. And then, of course, right there in the present, the home screen lineup, renew, retain, round out. Do we want to sell? Do we want to save folks? Do we want to help process our renewals and offer them the right product at the right price at the right time? That's my parting wisdom, Ron.
Love it.
Excellent. Yeah. We had a question come in, and I want to I'll give some of my own thoughts while I encourage the people who are on the call to also put in their questions. Because we have, I think one of the great things that Hawksoft finds in partners is people who are willing to just be open and accessible by our customers. So this is a great opportunity. I really want to encourage people. If you have any questions, please get them in. So Lisa asked me to talk about clean data and what is needed before signing up with Aureus Analytics and Donna. So what I will say is, generally speaking, the data that Aureus is analyzing is usually the most ready to go in our system. Past campaigns around cleaning data really focused on ensuring that personal profiles were connected with email addresses, because a big contingent of our integration partners are marketing automation, sales automation, CRM, those types of things. When it comes to Donna, they're looking more holistically at a client, not necessarily just trying to say like how do we contact this person? How do we call them? How do we email them? They're looking at what policies does this client have, what coverages, and all of this expansive information. So I would say that if you're using carrier downloads on the personal line side, you're probably a set. That data is probably pretty spick and span. On the commercial side, if you're doing things, maybe just check in with Thomas or Ron during the sales process or the onboarding process and have them look at it. I know that one of the big things Aureus Analytics is a champion of is data analysis and preparation for their system. Ron, can you speak to that any?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. So I appreciate you teeing it up that way. So Lisa, the unique thing about us is we're a mirror of what's going on with the agency management system. So once we pull it out and get everything, in a normal looking way that fits within the Donna platform, we can actually pinpoint exactly where maybe some of the shortfalls might be. And Kenny mentioned commercial lines, so maybe you don't have premium dollar or premium written in 10% of your customers. Maybe you don't have a commission spread or something along those lines put in, but we can identify that. So you know exactly where you got to go to get it fixed, but really right out of the gate, you're still going to get a tremendous amount of value, like what Kenny mentioned with his examples too. There are some very great consultants that you can work with from a data cleanup perspective. And I know that you've been on before. Chris Paradiso recommends Peggy Corbett, I believe his name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does a tremendous job at Hawksoft. That's a lot from a data cleanup structuring, but then also kind of process operation side of things too as well. So there are options out there, but again, we can pinpoint it right away because we upload data very quickly from Hawksoft to let you know where some of those kind of gaps might be too.
Yep. And to plug the national conference again, they are doing several sessions on data cleanup, led by Stephen Harrington, who's another expert on it. And I believe Peggy Corbett will be there as well. Okay, last opportunity while I gush unapologetically about how much I like Donna. If you'll allow me a rather nerdy, although zeitgeisty observation, when I look at Donna and what you're bringing forward to an agency, I think about the suit that Tony Stark wears. Like Iron Man, he puts on the suit and that makes him Iron Man. But underneath it, he's still proficient at what he does. And so an agent utilizing, or an insurance professional, an agency owner utilizing Donna, you could do this work by yourself. You could manually go through and review coverage line by line, check to see if they have the appropriate water coverage for a Florida house or something like that. But you have a million other things to do as an agency owner. And what Donna can unlock is an efficiency in like discovering those things, analyzing those targets and saying like, hey, we know that you could spend a Sunday combing through policy decks to figure this out, but let's do that for you. So on Sunday, you meet with your family, and during the work week, you can just efficiently say, boy, I need to call Bob. I really don't like what Donna pointed out about the coverage on his business. We need to address this before something happens. And to me, it's like, this is the type of technology that gets me excited, because I often say, and I've often said during these presentations, we've solved for saving minutes or saving hours. And often it's about, okay, how do we get seconds back in the day? Donna is a technology that is saving you hours in that exploration of your book of business, the understanding of your customers. Often I see agents that struggle between, do I spend time in my business doing the day-to-day work of an agent, or on my business doing the analytics to ensure that I'm running a good shop? You don't have to make that decision with Donna from my perspective. And so if you'll forgive me this very biased perspective, because I like Donna, but I'm also excited about the technology, I think every agency owner should at least check them out because of the insight that they give you and how it enhances your ability to be as good as you are. It's my pitch.
I don't think I could say anything top what you just said. And I'm sure David, who's on our marketing side's on here too, would love to use that entire speech and pin it on our website and some social channels too. Because I mean, that was fantastic. That's exactly what we want to do. We just want to be there to help you spend way less time doing things, but then also, let's make some money too at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Kenny, don't be surprised if you see your video, posted in random places now after that. David's probably clipping that right now. But
totally
I do want to say, I want to add one thing. So Ron, what Lisa's question brought up and, got me thinking about this. So the big, list, if you will, of getting Donna implemented with your agency, is done on the back end by our dev team, right? So I've worked with, tools in the agency environment myself that require, almost a systems administrator in your office even to get things up and running, right? So Donna is not that. Donna is, by and large, a read-only platform, right? We're just taking your data, combing through it, and serving it up to you, to find what you want, what you're looking for. So, to just reinforce that, we're not one of those platforms that wants you to come spend 4 hours of your workday in Donna. To take that even further, it's set up for you. It's built out, turnkey.
Excellent. And Lisa said, it looks like there's more golf days in her future. So I think that's a good note to end it on. I am looking forward to seeing you both in person in Florida in a week and a day. I hope everyone who is on this call also has the opportunity to join us. And if not, look forward to Partner Talk Live returning in June. We're going to enhance the format and also be on the lookout for a survey to give us feedback on what you would like to see in this series going forward. Ron, Thomas, David, thank you so much for helping us today. thank you very much to Dana Stevens, HawkSauce Marketing Manager, for facilitating this series and doing so much hard work behind the scenes each week. I am grateful for everyone who is here, and I hope to see you all again sometime soon. So take care.
Thanks, Kenny, and everyone. Take care.
Thanks, guys.